example, actor Michael B. Jordan, currently riding the high of the success of Sinners, was mentioned. Singer Cassie reportedly began a flirtatious relationship with an actor during a break from her relationship with Combs. While Jordan was not named in Ventura's original 2023 complaint that launched this legal fight, sources say Monday's questionnaire implied he was the actor in question. When Combs found out about the relationship, he reportedly called and threatened Jordan.
We're here, the start of United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. What began with his arrest in September of 2024, an indictment on federal crimes charges, now brings us to May 5th, 2025, the start of his trial.
Y'all, it looks like Michael B. Jordan has just joined a very, very long list of people who have sued Diddy. He filed a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy for trying to unalive him. Because of Cassie, it turns out that after Diddy and Cassie broke up, she tried to start something with Michael B. Jordan, and Diddy hated on it. Word on the streets is that Diddy allegedly tried to get Michael B. Jordan jumped, and he was lucky enough to escape with his life. But get this isn't just some random conspiracy theory making its rounds on social media. Apparently, Michael B. Jordan's name actually came up during Diddy's trial, which just started, and it looks like the feds have more than enough evidence to tie Diddy to an attempt on Michael B. Jordan's life. Well, the timing of this lawsuit is definitely interesting because with the trial starting, the streets are saying that Diddy is desperate to keep everything under wraps. Yeah, this is about to be a hot mess. So let's break it down now. I'm not going to lie, the thought of Michael B. Jordan getting caught up in some Diddy mess is wild because Michael B. Jordan is the last person we thought would be involved in this, not stacking smoke. He mostly stays out the drama, y'all. He's on his acting tip, and he is one of the very few celebs who has never been tied to Diddy's freak-offs, and considering that more than half of Hollywood has been tied to these freak-offs, it's nothing short of impressive. So how exactly did he become in the middle of all of this? Well, it has to do with Cassie. As it turns out, Michael B. Jordan allegedly had a little something going on with Cassie back in the day, and he didn't like it not one bit. Cassie actually hinted at it in her lawsuit when she didn't name who the man was in question. The court document said later in 2015, while shooting a movie in Cape Town, South Africa, Miss Venter began a flirtatious relationship with an actor. She spent New Year's Eve with this actor, but Mr. Combs soon found out. Mr. Combs called the actor and threatened him. The actor proceeded to call Miss Venter and tell her, "You really need to call Mr. Combs." Now, even from the court documents, it was clear that the actor in question was freaked out by the encounter, while Michael B. Jordan kept his mouth shut the entire time. But it turns out that he was just waiting for the perfect time to drop this lawsuit. The drama started to unravel during Diddy's trial, and we were shook. We first started to get suspicious when Michael B. Jordan's name came up during a jury selection, according to reports. Michael B. Jordan's name was brought up on the first day of the jury selection as a pool of potential jurors were quizzed on their knowledge of a list of celebrities who could be referenced during the 8-week trial. According to Rolling Stone, Michael B. Jordan and Cassie spent time together in 2015 and is referenced in Vento's November 20123 lawsuit against Combs during a break in Combs' relationship with the R&B singer. Ventura began a flirtatious relationship with an actor now revealed to be Michael B. Jordan in 2015, according to her lawsuit. When Combs found out, he allegedly called the actor and threatened him. Get this, it looks like the trial is going to get even messier because more celebs are going to get dragged into it as time goes on. According to reports, the jury was also given names of high-profile people like Kid Cudi and Kanye West, and Destiny's Child singer Michelle Williams, actors like Mike Myers and Lauren London, and singer Don Richard, who was previously signed to Combs' Bad Boy Records. So it looks like the situation is about to be 10 times worse when the trial eventually starts. But in the meantime, Warden Streets is that Michael B. Jordan has retained a lawyer to sue Diddy for $30 million. According to him, not only did he threaten him, but he allegedly tried to get him and jumped by daring to mess with Cassie. He claimed that he was lucky enough to escape without getting seriously hurt, and now he's coming for his coin as well as his revenge on Diddy. Now, I wish I could say this sort of behavior is surprising, but honestly, it's not. If there's one thing that we have found out about Diddy since Cassie's lawsuit, is that diplomacy is not his strong suit. He has been accused of allegedly hurting people and threatening them in order to get his own way, y'all. It's not even the first time that he has been accused of hurting a man after Cassie tried to move on from him. He did it to Kid Cudi allegedly, and Cudi came close to losing his life allegedly after Diddy blew up his car for speaking to Cassie, allegedly, according to the court documents, in 2011 during a rough patch in Mr. Combs and Miss Venture's relationship. Miss Ventura had a brief relationship with musician Kid Cudi. When Mr. Combs returned from a trip, he demanded another freak-off of Miss Ventura. She acquiesced, and during the FO, Mr. Combs found Miss Venture's phone and found emails between her and Kid Cudi. Mr. Combs became enraged and proceeded to place a manual corkscrew between his fingers and lunge at Miss Ventura. Miss Ventura ran away to stay at Cudi's home to escape Mr. Combs' wrath. Soon thereafter, one of Mr. Combs' staff members told Miss Vento that he needed to just talk to Mr. Combs, even though Mr. Combs was enraged, feeling like she could not escape Mr. Combs and his network of enforcers. Miss Vento returned to Mr. Combs. He hit her several times and then kicked her in the back as she tried to run out the door. It also said in February 2012 during Paris Fashion Week, Mr. Combs told Miss Vento that he was going to blow up Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. Miss Ventura was terrified, and she began to fully comprehend what Mr. Combs was both willing and able to do to those he believed had slighted him. If there's one thing about Mr. Diddy Combs, is that he often flies into a jealous rage. Cassie isn't the only ex he has treated this way. He also got jealous with his exes Misa Hilton and Kim Porter, and they both moved on. His bodyguard Gene disclosed that Diddy used to get physical with his baby mama and then girlfriend Misa Hilton when he found out that Misa had tried to move on from him with another man.
Let's solve that for you.
Well, Misa was out there. She was messing with dude from EPMD. That's why Puff first beat out.
There are even rumors that he unalived Misa's alleged baby daddy Wolf from messing with Misa. So there's been some quiet chatter going around for a while about whether Justin Combs is actually Diddy's biological son, and some people believe his real dad might have been Anthony Wolf Jones, Diddy's former bodyguard, who was killed back in 2003. Now things have always seemed a little off when it comes to Justin's mom. Misa, word in the street says that Diddy started dating her when she was still in high school, and he was already in his 20s, which definitely makes people side-eye that whole situation.
I've always wondered a couple things. Was Diddy messing with Misa when she was in high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so my math is about right. 15, 16, they started messing around. Okay, and Diddy's definitely older than her.
Right.
So y'all can do the math on.
Now, from what has been said, Diddy was extremely controlling and downright mean to Lisa, and at top of all that he was cheating left and right. He had women all over the place and didn't even try to hide it because everybody around them knew what was going on. But despite doing his own dirt out in the open, he couldn't handle the thought of Misa seeing somebody else. When he found out she was talking to another man, he completely snapped and reportedly got physical with her, like the hypocrisy all is wild. But lately there's been talk that Diddy might have had something to do with Wolf's death, and it definitely got people side-eyeing that whole thing. The official story says Wolf got into it with Big Meech from BMF, and things ended in a shout-out, and Wolf didn't make it. But here's the thing, when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. Wolf and Big Meech weren't enemies. In fact, they were both cool with Diddy. So it's not the kind of drama you'd expect between two people in the same circle. That's why some folks think the whole thing might have been a setup. Rumor is Diddy may have wanted Wolf out of the picture and allegedly asked Big Meech to handle it. Nothing's been proven, but the whispers won't stop. Like, that's not wild enough. Wolf is not the only man that Diddy has been rumored to have unalived or messed with his ex, because he allegedly did the same thing to Kim Porter's ex, a man named Shakir Stewart. Kitty and Kim's relationship was on and off most of the time, and during one of their breaks, Kim started seeing a man named Shakir Stewart. Diddy was furious about it, and then when they argued, he beat her up badly, even breaking her nose. Now, back in the day, Diddy was known for being supervised Kim, and in this 2005 article it wrote, Diddy Combs' girlfriend Kim Porter was left with a broken nose after the couple argued on Combs' yacht in Saint-Tropez. Combs flew in a special plastic surgeon from Geneva after the accident. Porter has since claimed she hurt her face after she banged her nose on a table. But y'all, it got even darker with what happened to Shakir. He was found dead at home from gun wounds, and it was ruled a suicide, but a lot of people just weren't buying it. They started wondering if Diddy might have had something to do with it. Here's why. Just a few weeks after Shakir died, there were reports that Diddy had jumped Shakir during some kind of altercation so naturally when the news of Shaq airs. Death broke, folks started connecting the dots. An insider reported that Kim was seeing Shakira, and Diddy found out. And he went apish. He tracked Shakir down to his hotel. Then Diddy went up there without security and beat him to a pulp. Don't let the shiny suits and curls fool you. Diddy will F a man up. People have clocked a T and left comments like, during one of the many breakups between Kim and Diddy, she began talking to an employee of Def Jam named Shakir Stewart. Diddy was irate apparently. She ends up with a broken nose, and Shakir ends up dead by unaliving himself on November 4th, 2008, Diddy birthday only. Kim would know who did it. This is crazy. When you factor in the things that Cassie ruled in her lawsuit, you can kind of see why she would be desperate to get away from Diddy. But in her lawsuit, she had a whole lot to say about how Diddy treated her. And as she gave some examples, the court documents said that he essayed Miss Venter in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, kicked, and stumped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises burst, lips, black eyes, and forced Miss Vento to engage in intimate acts with male SWS while getting off on it, and filming the encounters demanded that Miss Vento to carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Venter to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance use and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. She also claimed that he went above and beyond to control and manipulate every part of her life, and he would often hurt her over the smallest inconveniences. Sometimes he didn't even need an excuse to hurt her. The lawsuit detailed several instances of this behavior, including one incident where they were heading home after a party with Jay-Z. The lawsuit said Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab to get to her apartment in Manhattan. There was also a time when Cassie reached out to a music manager to help her with her career. And honestly, who can blame her? Because D wasn't exactly doing much to promote her as an artist, even though he was supposed to be managing her instead of helping her grow it. Felt like he was more focused on keeping her under his thumb than actually supporting her success. So when he tried to speak to the manager, Diddy got so mad that when they left the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, pushed her into a corner of the vehicle, and stomped on her face. When the car arrived at Mr. Combs' residence, Miss Vento attempted to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Vento was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up. Incidents in the lawsuit. She also talks about a time when he hit her so badly in an Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles in 2016, according to the court documents. In or around March 2016, during an FO at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Camas became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. After he fell asleep, Miss Vento tried to leave the hotel room, but as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel. While yelling at her, he grabbed at her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her, causing glass to crash around them. As she ran to the elevator to escape, she continued. She managed to get into the elevator, and when she got to the lobby, quickly took a cab to her apartment upon realizing that her running away would cause Mr. Combs to be even angrier with her, and completely stuck in his vicious cycle of Miss Ventura returned to the hotel with the intention of apologizing for running away from her. When she returned, hotel security staff urged her to get back into a cab and go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen the security footage showing Mr. Combs beating Miss Vento and throwing glass at her in the hotel hallway. Now, she also claimed that he paid off someone in the hotel for the footage of the incident because he knew quite well and good what would happen if it were ever leaked. The document said, upon information and belief, Mr. Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for the hallway security footage from that evening. At first, Diddy denied the lawsuit and accused her of being a clout chaser and a gold digger. His lawyer said, Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Miss Venter's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite Withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Bento has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies aiming to tarnish Mr. Comey's reputation and seeking a payday. However, when he saw how much damage this was going to do him, he chose to settle that lawsuit one day after she filed. However, he still maintained his innocence, and his lawyer released a statement saying, "A decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Bento the best. Luckily, she managed to escape. Diddy married the love of her life, and things look good for her. She has even been reported to be testifying against Diddy in the trial, and chances are very high that she's going to confirm that Diddy tried to unalive McCabe Jordan. Because of her now, like I said, this is the perfect timing for McCabe Jordan's lawsuit. There's pretty much no need for him to go back and forth about whether or not Diddy really tried to jump him, because the feds already did that work for him. If it's all put out during the trial, all he has to do is walk in and collect coin. But like I said, pretty much a smart move, y'all. This case is wild, and I did not expect Michael B. Jordan smoking stacking sinners to be up on this lawsuit, but y'all got to let me know how y'all feel about this mess. Drop your thoughts and comments below, and then check out this next video.